Digital Network. We don't have a bathrobe today, but we got the sun, we got the birds singing, we got a pumpkin spice latte. We are all set and ready to rock on a Titan game day morning. Good to see everybody on Facebook Live and on Periscope. We're going to do the 3 Titans keys to success. You know how this goes down. We will do that later on in the show. We will, of course, get to the Titans player that needs to make the greatest impact today. You'll be without quite a few Titans impact players today, but we'll discuss who needs to step up against the lowly Cincinnati Bengals. I've got my MyBookie.ag best bet. It's a huge Sunday, by the way, for gambling, as our friends Music City Bets points out. For the state of Tennessee, happy wagering to everybody. Happy first legal day of wagering to the entire state of Tennessee. I hope everybody is gambling with money that they don't need. And if you need the money, well, you know, maybe hedge your bets a little bit. Regardless, you can do it legally this morning, and it's good to see everybody on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, Twitch TV. We got all kinds of folks, all kinds of kinds in here on Titan Game Day morning. Before we get the party started, before we get things rolling on A to Z Sports Primetime, I'm sorry to disappoint, no bathrobe here today. I need you to share this show around. Bathrobe or not, we can share our coffee together, or if you're pre-gaming with something else, no free ads. But the pumpkin spice latte is my weapon of choice. Oh, damn, that's hot. Before we get everything going, got to share this show around on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch. You do so on Periscope, as I am doing right now. In the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, go ahead and retweet the show. If you would be so kind, it's a beautiful morning to get your Periscope people, your Twitter folks involved. Go ahead and retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. YouTube, welcome in. Twitch TV, invite your friends. We love to see everybody across all 4 platforms here today. Facebook Live, you know how this is done. You share now to public. Hell, I'll do that too on my phone as we sit here warming the thing up. It's in the 50s this morning. It's feeling a little cool. We got to warm the engine a little bit. Got to rev the social media engine just a hair, but you can do that in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen with the share now to public button. That's how we get your Facebook friends involved here on Titan Game Day morning. And now that you guys are here, we can talk about Derrick Henry. We can talk about Noah Dory Jackson. We can talk about A.J. Brown, Joe Burrow, the Bengals, the Titans, everything. Let's go ahead and begin. Welcome into Titan Game Day morning here on the A to Z Sports streaming network. I'm your host, Buck Rising, proud as always to be presented to you by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. We'll hear from Gary from the dog park, I'm told, later on in the show. Meantime, you can get your dream address without the stress, just like I did. I'm sitting out here on my back porch, my beautiful back porch, sold to me by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage at GaryAshton.com, official realtor of the Tennessee Titans. You know, Two Rivers Ford is the best in the business when it comes to your automotive buying experience. TwoRiversFord.com, the dealership just east of Nashville International Airport in Mount Juliet, off Belinda Parkway, Nashville's headquarters for the 2021 Ford Bronco. TwoRiversFord.com. Of course, MyBookie.ag, where you go to legally gamble here in the state of Tennessee. Happy wagering to all, courtesy of our friends at MyBookie.ag. You can double your first deposit with our friends at MyBookie using the promo code MyTitans. They'll match you up to $1,000. MyTitans, MyTitans. Double your first deposit at MyBookie.ag. It's 9 a.m. here in Indy. I'm still debating driving to Cincinnati, says Otis. Well, you got time, Otis. What's a 1 o'clock Eastern kickoff between the Titans and the Bengals, and we have a good deal to discuss. Justin says he's proud of me. Well, I appreciate that, Justin. Thank you very much. Cheers to you. I'm proud of you guys for waking up and hanging out with me here on a beautiful Sunday morning in Nashville, Tennessee. The weather's going to be a little more tricky for the Cincinnati in Cincinnati rather. I saw wind gusts up to 30 miles an hour. I saw a temperature of 46 degrees. That's going to be difficult for the kicking game, which you already have a little bit of struggles in. But this morning, let's go ahead and start with our Titans keys to success. Let me know in the comments on Facebook Live, on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Twitch. Give me your biggest Titans key. I'll have 3 for you, but I need from you your biggest Titans key to success today against the 1-5-1, a miserable tie against the Philadelphia Eagles for the Bengals. Joe Burrow, no slouch. We'll go over some stats having to do with the first overall pick in this year's NFL draft in just a second. Meanwhile, give me your Titans keys to success. For me, I'll start the bidding as we sit here from my dream address without the stress, courtesy of the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. The pass rush today is the day. Today is the day for the pass rush. If there was ever going to be a day for this terrible Titans pass rush to finally get to Joe Burrow, to finally inflict some kind of pressure, to finally show up, step up, perform up to expectation, and by the way, to their salary, today would be today. Today would be the day for the Tennessee Titans to show some semblance of pass rush. You have to see Jadeveon Clowney, who has 22 pressures, no sacks. Vic Beasley, you have to see more out of him. Harold Landry, you have to see more out of him. Those 3 guys have a sack and a half between them. That's over, I think $25 million between the 3 of them, 22 and a half just for Beasley and Clowney, and they have not produced. Clowney gets almost sacks, which are called pressures. He's got 22 of them, but it's not enough. Today, against a completely and totally depleted Cincinnati Bengals team, by the way, without Joe Mixon, who's going to be a big factor for their offense, although they do have sneaky good wide receivers there in Cincinnati. Today is the day for the pass rush to get home. That's where it starts first and foremost. You have to see more out of those 3. By the way, Derek Roberson has already been ruled out. For those of you who have not yet caught up to the news, Derek Roberson, whether he would have been active on game day or not, because they keep rolling out 3 outside linebackers, which is completely inexplicable to me. But today it's not going to matter because he has already been ruled out with an illness. Robbie Stanley, our great friend from NHL.com, says, not nude. No, I am not. I'm sorry. It's a little cold. I'm not down for some shrinkage this morning, Rob. It's beautiful on my back patio. It is. It's sunny. It's about 55 degrees. I got a lovely pumpkin spice latte, but the twigs and berries would not handle the cold steel of my outdoor furniture and the weather quite well enough here on A to Z Sports Primetime. But the PSL goes a long way. Titans keys to success. Give them to me on Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Ryan Field says, what about DeAndre Walker, buddy? Are you how far off, or how long have you not been paying attention to say DeAndre Walker? He hasn't been on the team since roster cut day. How hungover am I, Madison? I'm not hungover at all. I think I'm the only person in my friend group that did not attend a Halloween party last night. I don't really, I'm not really down for the social gatherings right now. It's not really for me. If you, and no judgment, by the way, if you went to a Halloween party last night, but for me, I did, and we'll get back to Titans keys to success here in a second. I know you guys don't come here for my personal life, but I had a lovely day at the farmer's market yesterday. Then I went to breakfast at, no free ads, but a lovely breakfast place here in North Nashville. Then I spent my evening at Cheekwood and the Botanical Gardens, and then we got a pizza and watched a movie. Like, that was my night. That's how it goes. No social gatherings for your boy right now. Buck, you got your coffee. I got my Bud Light Platinum. Says Mitch T. Firkins, the legend. The legend is in the comment section. I got a picture with him last, what was that, the Texans or the Steelers game? I can't remember. Mitch T. Firkins, a legend among us here on A to Z Sports Titan Game Day morning. We can throw your comments up there on Facebook Live and on Periscope. Let me get to some of your keys to success this morning before I give you my other 2. What is everybody feeling about this game? T-Rux says play action, same as every week. Alex Blaine Mans want them to run the ball and get some pass rush. Control the clock, Alex Bien says with the run on Facebook. Kendall Gross also agrees they need to run the ball. Third down defense, Lindsay says on Periscope. Man, the third down defense, because that's going to be my second one, and I'll expand more on that here in just a second. But the third down defense for the Tennessee Titans is historically bad right now. Today, I don't anticipate that. I'll be honest with you, Lindsay. I'll tell you more about why I don't think it's going to get much better today against the Bengals, even though they stink. They are not bad offensively, and I'll elaborate more on that as we get your Titans keys to success. Struggling is an understatement, says Otis Bibbs. I'm doing okay. Derrick Henry weather, says Steph Dobbs. We are inching closer and closer to D-Hember, as my friend Zach Lyons from the Football and Other F Words podcast likes to call it. But he's already leading the league in rushing. He is tied for the league in rushing touchdowns. He's got 7 rushing touchdowns, 663 yards for King Henry. He will be a big factor of today. I'm trying to find a place to watch this, Lewis Chisney. Go to the Mainstay. Hang out with Austin and Zach. They do the pregame, halftime, and postgame show every day there, or every game day there in East Nashville. Keep the Bengals under 30 points. Too much to ask for this defense, those Titans? Probably. And I'll expand on that here in just a second, right after I remind you about our friends and my personal friend, who we'll chat with later on in the show, Gary Ashton and the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Your dream address without the stress. That's what the Ashton Real Estate Group can offer to you. Also, if you're in the market to sell your home with as many people as we have coming in from out of town into our lovely city of Nashville, I am among the transplants, so they're not all so bad, or at least I don't think I'm that bad. But anyway, the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage can help you sell for more. Don't sell without the intel. The official realtor of the Tennessee Titans, Nashville Predators, Nashville SC, and A to Z Sports Prime Time, GaryAshton.com. Hit him up, and we'll talk to Gary at the end of the show. Titans keys to success. Paul Ruddy on Facebook says, ram it down their throats, ball control. Getting Jonnu involved. Brandon Christie says, Brandon, that's if you'll stick around to the end of the show, I got a good MyBookie.ag best bet regarding Jonnu Smith. Why am I not in Cincinnati? Says Trucks. That's kind of a this is the last home game, or excuse me, the last road game that I'm probably not going to go to. And I thought about doing Cincy this weekend. It's been a harder selling point to get me to go to road games this year. And it's not for any lack of want, right? It's just different, right? All of our pregame access has been removed, even for home games. So like I can't go down on the field pregame anymore and chat up guys, chat up agents, talk to people on the sideline before the NFL games. All our availability is now on Zoom, so it kind of mitigates any real reason for me to be there other than, to watch the game in the press box and to have a 10-second leg up on the television broadcast in terms of reaction time. And I don't really want to drive 4 hours, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm spoiled though, T-Rux. Like, you gotta consider who you're asking. Like, in normal circumstances, I fly to the games. I get to go to the games. I get the pregame access. I get the postgame access. I get to go to the locker room, like all of this stuff. And so this year, when it's all on Zoom, I'm just kind of like, but I will be in Baltimore, Green Bay, Indy, Houston, and probably Jacksonville. But we'll see, depending on how, Jacksonville's still up in the air. The city of Jacksonville is not a pleasant visiting experience. Anyway, Titans keys to success. I gave you my first. The pressure needs to be there today. Jadeveon Clowney, 22 pressures, a sack and a half, though, between your 3 outside linebackers who get all of the playing time. Derek Roberson, again, will be out today. Third down defense is my second Titans key to success here on A to Z Sports Titan game day morning. They're historically bad right now. They're giving up over 60% of their third downs, and that by any stretch of the imagination is atrocious. What I will say to you is that I don't believe it's going to get much better today because you will not have Adoree Jackson. He was not called up from IR. He was not activated for this week. Of course, he did not practice on Friday. Mike Vrabel said it was a decision between he and the training staff that it was in the best interest of Adoree not to practice on Friday. And your secondary will now be, because Christian Fulton's on IR as well. Remember that. Jonathan Joseph, Malcolm Butler, Chris Jackson, Ty Smith, Kareem Moore got called up from the practice squad yesterday, as did Breon Borders, who I'm not entirely sure what he looks like because he's been on the practice squad and on the COVID list for the entirety of his existence here in Tennessee. But your secondary is bad. Your secondary has been bad. Your pass rush has also been bad. Today it should be better because the Bengals offensive line is an absolute disaster. It kind of looks like your secondary. But there is very little reason for me to believe that today will be the day that it improves, if I'm being honest, because I look at what Burrow did last week. They lost 37-34, 11 seconds. I think 11 seconds remaining in that game is when Baker Mayfield just absolutely whipped a touchdown pass into Donovan Peoples-Jones. Burrow last week became the first rookie quarterback in NFL history with 400 yards passing. He had 406, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown in a single game. He's the first rookie quarterback in NFL history to do that. What is your Titans' keys to success here on A to Z Sports Titan Game Day morning? Third down defense, rush the passer, and of course, feed Derrick Henry. 663 rushing yards, as I mentioned. 7 rushing touchdowns, tied for first in the NFL. He leads the league in rushing yards currently here on A to Z Sports Prime Time. Your Titans' keys to success as we continue on. Before we move on to the Titan who will have the biggest impact, my MyBookie.ag best bet, and we'll hear from our buddy Gary Ashton, who I believe has popped in to the chat. We'll get to Gary here in just about, let's say, 8 minutes on Titan Game Day morning. On my way to Cincinnati right now, says Randall Turner. If Clowney doesn't start getting a few sacks, he may be worth $8 million next year, says Ryan Fields. Yeah, the Jadeveon Clowney thing is a definite. It's a tough pill to swallow. I think the weather helps our defense today, says Darren. You bet. I don't know what helps your defense. Nothing helps your defense at this point. The defense is a disaster. Better not be a trap game. Larry Ford says Stephon Gilmore is injured if we were interested, says EA. EA, I am not interested in talking about any trades at this point. What I am interested in talking about is the player on your team presently who will have the greatest impact today. Let me know in the comments on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch TV as we sit here with a couple hundred of you on Titan Game Day morning. Which Titans player needs to have the greatest impact today against the Bengals? Let me know. We will discuss together on Titan Game Day morning. Give me your responses there in the comments section. Clowney is who I thought he was, says Titans for Life. Why didn't we elevate Wyatt Race's scoop? I guess, they don't seem to care much about the idea of having more than 3 outside linebackers. They don't do it. Big Jeff, EA says. Donald Bell says Henry. Taurus, Corey Davis, Kendall Gross saying A.J. Brown. Henry, he could have another 200-plus yard day. See, Blackard 88 says, Bavin agrees with Derrick Henry. Chris Payton is hoping for some Clowney action. Lewis Chesney says the punter. I love Brett Kern. I do not want to see a lot of Brett Kern today. Last week, between the Bengals and the Browns, they only punted once between the two teams. It was just outright offense. They only punted once between those two franchises. Today, you do not want to see a lot of Brett Kern, although I believe he ties Craig Heinrich today with the most games started for a Tennessee Titans player. I think 176, I believe, is the number for the MV punter. Our defense, Big Jeff, Jason Gillette says number 98. The Butler needs to do it, Darren says. Malcolm Butler, my IR nemesis long before Adoree Jackson, who, by the way, remains on injured reserve. For me, it is Jeffrey Simmons. For me, it is big number 98. That's the only defensive player who is living up to his stature, his salary, his living up to the hype, to be completely honest with you. And today, against a terrible Bengals offensive line, they ought to be able to get pressure. But Jeffrey Simmons, the leader of this team, honestly, the leader of this defense right now. In a year where the defense is very, very bad. In a year when the defense needs to absolutely improve. Jeffrey Simmons is who I want to see take a big step forward today on Titan Game Day morning. We'll read more of your comments here in just a second. We'll get to our buddy Gary Ashton and the MyBookie.ag best bet momentarily, right after I remind you about where you go for the best car buying experience in Nashville. John Barker's Two Rivers Ford, the online Ford superstore. Nashville's official home of the 2021 Ford Bronco, a badass vehicle and an incredible customer service experience. That's what they offer you at Two Rivers Ford. Check them out at the dealership in Mount Juliet, just a little bit east of the airport, or online at tworiversford.com. They will hook you up the same way that they hook me up courtesy of our friends at Two Rivers Ford. Mitch, the legend, Mitch Firkins says Simmons tattoo could be coming soon. Mitch, I hope that it happens, and I hope to see it when it happens here on Titan Game Day Morning. Is Big Game Dane out, says Ryan Fields. Yeah, among the players who have already been ruled out, Adoree Jackson obviously will not play today. Christian Fulton has been placed on IR. Derek Roberson was ruled out yesterday with an illness. Dane Cruikshank also with a groin injury after not practicing for a couple days this past week. Just a side note. No, we're not doing side notes right now, BMO. We got limited time. We're not trying to waste the people's time with side notes. What are you giving me movie reviews in the middle of the Titan Game Day Morning Show? What are we doing here? No, we got to talk about Jeff Simmons. We got to talk about the Titans. They could be 7. They could, what was it, 6-1 for the first time since 2008. That's insane. That's completely and totally insane. This is a complete departure from everything that we've known Titans football to be. And BMO's in here giving us movie reviews. Out of here. On Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Cornerbacks says Cello need to play well today. Lots of injuries. Burrow going to throw for 400 yards on us today, says Luke Jones. Man, it's good. I really do feel it's going to be a shootout. And that's why MyBookie, before we get to our buddy Gary Ashton, MyBookie best bet today, using that promo code MyTitans at MyBookie.ag, that they'll double your first deposit using that promo code that you see at MyBookie.ag. My Titans best bet for today, I am going to ride with Jonnu Smith because I'm going to assume there's going to be a lot of passing yards today. The Bengals are banged up. Jonnu Smith over 38 receiving yards. It's -114 at MyBookie.ag. Go use that promo code MyTitans to double your first deposit. The Titans right now, they're a 7.5-point favorite as of this morning. The over-under, which I honestly would bet the over if it was my money. The over-under set at 50.5 on MyBookie.ag. Let's go to our dog park correspondent who appears to have entered the chat, our good buddy, Gary Ashton from the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. Let me see how many times I can throw Gary's face up on the screen outside of it just being Gary. My brother, what's up?
Oh, I'm just out here at the dog park. We've got Reggie and Stanley running around. I don't know if you can see that, but they're running around with a new buddy.
Oh, no, I hear him in the backdrop. We got the billboard behind you. We got your face in front of us. Hell, I've even got my mini billboard out here on Titan Game Day Morning. There's Reggie and Stanley, the pups, out for a walk, looking sharp. It's a beautiful morning for it, Gary. Thanks for joining us, by the way. And thank you also for being a part of the Titan Game Day Morning Show and telling the people how they cannot sell their home without the intel that the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage can provide to them.
That's right. We have, it's basically the Ashton advantage. Don't sell without the intel, get your dream address without the stress. You got your guaranteed offer right there. We have so many opportunities for people to buy and sell a home. We don't just push them into one avenue. We have so much information, so many opportunities. So just give us a call. Come and chat to us.
Give them a call. Head to GaryAshton.com.
Dogs are taking me out here.
I was about to say they don't care about the broadcast. They're just here to enjoy the beautiful morning.
We got a side note. We got anyway.
So check them out at GaryAshton.com. You can't miss the billboards. As recognizable a face as there is here in Middle Tennessee, the best in the business. And I'm sitting here doing the Titan Game Day morning. No bathrobe for me this morning, Gary, from the house. It's still at the dry cleaner, so I couldn't come out here in a wet bathrobe. We couldn't do it. Well, but I appreciate you hanging out. You ready for the game later this afternoon?
Oh yeah, I'll be at home watching with the pups and looking for a win. And then is it Simmons? That's the guy that's coming up. He's the guy that's been living up to all expectations, right?
He's the baddest man in the game right now. Big number 98, Jeff Simmons. Oh, we lost Gary here this morning on the Titan Game Day Morning Show, but Gary's got it right. As the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage always gets it right at GaryAshton.com. Jeffrey Simmons, you need to see a lot. Jonnu Smith, MyBookie.ag. Best bet, Corey D. Jackson says G Money in the house without question. Gary Ashton is the realist. I love me some Gary. And those puppies are cute as hell, if I'm being completely honest. 35-21, back on track, says Terrence Gallagher. He's feeling a Titans win today. Listen, guys, I'm optimistic about their chances because the Bengals are really, really bad right now. What I will say to you is that the Tennessee Titans defense, as bad as the Bengals might be, the Tennessee Titans defense is equally as bad. In fact, historically bad. And Joe Burrow is not somebody that you can sleep on. T. Higgins, the rookie, is great. Boyd, the underrated, one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league right now. Boyd, Higgins, they are absolutely making up for the diminishment. AJ Green's powers are starting to diminish a little bit. We have seen him be lackluster this year, and those wideouts, but the wideouts that they have around him, since he always does good at finding talent. Not this year on the offensive line. They don't pay guys after the fact. And a big deal today, by the way, for the Cincinnati Bengals, as I take a quick sip, a quick pause for a PSL sip here this morning. This would be really good if you put like some spiked cider in it or something like that. Pumpkin spice lattes are the best. Terrible for my waistline. But regardless, here on Titan Game Day morning, Joe Mixon not playing, the offensive line being a train wreck. The wide receivers are good, but their defense stinks almost as bad as yours does. So you can feel a little better about that. Geno Atkins will probably play today, but he's injured. I would not underestimate the Bengals. I would approach them with caution. But if you are as good a team, as you think you are, and as they think they are, and as, by the way, I think they are, I think they're a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Today's the day to show us how you beat up on bad teams. The Bengals don't lose by many points. They do not go quietly into that dark night, as Baker Mayfield and the Browns will tell you after last week's excursion against them. But they can be had, and you are a good enough team to have them. And so I would say that a Titans win should absolutely be the expectation today. Torres says Hennessy. Ooh, I've never actually had Hennessy. I don't know if that's a two Americas type situation or if, I mean, and here in North Nashville, I ought to be able to get some Hennessy. There's plenty of Hennessy being had up on Buchanan Street by my house last night. Slim and Huskies and Minerva, no free ads, but they were absolutely lit. If I was doing social gatherings this year, I would have absolutely gone and hung out, brought my pumpkin spice latte, put a little Hennessy in it. Would have been lit. It would have been a good time. John Ross, BMO says, is going to play the world's smallest violin. Yeah, he is just an absolute disaster. Little absinthe in the PSL. No, I'm not trying to trip him. Oh my God. Here in South Dakota, one of our coffee shops has an apple pumpkin spice latte. It's good, says Jeff Burrell. South Dakota showing up, repping Jeff Burrell for South Dakota. Thanks for hanging out with us, Jeff. It's good to see you. I don't get it. We just have so many injuries and bad play in the secondary. Go get a corner, says Jorge. Why? Who are you going to get? I mean, you guys want to talk trade here this morning? We got about a minute left, and that's about as much patience as I have for the trade talk. You're not going to get Stephon Gilmore. You're not going to give up what it would cost to get Stephon Gilmore. Desmond King, maybe he could be had, but it's still going to come at a higher premium because you're an AFC team trading with other AFC teams. Pierre Desir with the Jets, you could probably get something out of Joe Douglas at this point, seeing as they're running that thing straight into the ground for draft capital. And Pierre Desir is on a reasonable contract. Do not the likelihood of you getting AFC guys to an AFC team in trades, it just doesn't happen. And by the way, John Robinson doesn't do those trades. Now, it's different this year. Everything's different this year, of course. Everything's different this year. But I don't think that a flat salary cap next year is going to prompt teams to make more trades. In fact, the salary cap could go down for all we know, based on the amount of I mean, my God, did you see how much money the NBA lost because of the lack of gate, because of the TV contracts? T-Rux is right. I doubt you. The most likely scenario is that you guys don't trade for anybody. But the more likely scenario today is that you probably beat the Bengals. So keep that in mind. Keep that good energy. If I'm the one sitting here giving you the good energy, you know it should be a win today for the Tennessee Titans. Enjoy the football. Enjoy your Sunday. If you are gambling, enjoy it. Enjoy doing so legally for the first day, for the first time here in the state of Tennessee. And I will be back with you tonight at 8 p.m. to talk about whatever happens today between the Titans and Bengals on A to Z Sports Primetime. Support the people that support this show. That's Two Rivers Ford, the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, and MyBookie.ag, where you can double your first deposit with promo code MyTitans. I will see you guys later on. Austin and Zach at the Mainstay, if you want to watch the game with them. The Mainstay in East Nashville is where they will do pre, halftime, and the post-game show. I'll talk to you all later. Enjoy the football, and as always, fam,